from the News Channel 5 network, this is Titans Talk.
Glad you're with us tonight here on News Channel 5 Plus. I'm Jonathan Hutton in for Steve Lehman, and as we do each and every Monday night, Titans Talk. We're going to have open phones coming up later this hour where we welcome your calls in reaction to the Titans' loss yesterday, 20-6 to the Houston Texans, falling to 1-6 on the season. Phone lines are open at 615-737-7767, 615-737-7767. Titans fall 20-6. We're going to hear from Ken Wisenhunt coming up. But first, let's show you how the Titans fell to 1-6 yesterday. Marcus Mariota sidelined. He could only watch as the Titans tried to get the divisional win on the road. Titans early 3-0 lead, but early second quarter, Brian Hoyer finds DeAndre Hopkins in the corner of the end zone. Great catch there. Kept a 5-play, 55-yard drive, 7-3 Houston. On the ensuing kickoff, Bishop Sankey decides to run it out, gets to the 15, but then coughs it up. Texans recover. That led to a field goal and a 10-3 lead. Late second quarter, Titans get a spark on special teams. Dexter McCluster finds an alley on the left side, a 37-yard punt return. Tennessee in business, but on the ensuing drive, Zach Mettenberger swallowed up by Whitney Merciless, who had 3.5 sacks on the day. Titans come away with no points, still 10-3 at the half. But Houston comes right back and gets in the end zone. Hoyer deep for our old friend Nate Washington, who beats Cody Sensabaugh for the touchdown. 42 yards, and the Texans lead it 17-6 and make it 6 straight losses for the Titans as they lose 20-6. Titans offense could only muster up 211 yards, and they turn it over 3 times. Big storyline going into Week 9 against New Orleans now is what's the status of Marcus Mariota and Kendall Wright, who was injured yesterday in the loss. That's where Ken Wisenhunt began his press conference today at St. Thomas Sports Park.
Okay, so I'm guessing the first question will be about Kendall. So obviously we all saw the shot that he took to his knee yesterday, and we're still evaluating it. I know it's sore today, but I don't know as far as time or if he'll miss or anything. We're still in the process of looking at it.
He said he thought it was an MCL. Do you know that much?
He said he thought it was? Well, they speculated on that, so I don't know to what degree or how serious it is.
Has he had an MRI?
I believe he has had an MRI, yes, later this morning. I have not talked with Todd about the results yet, though.
How about Marcus? I mean, what's his status at this point?
I expect him to go Wednesday in practice. So, obviously we'll be able to see how much he can do in practice, but I don't think there's going to be an issue there.
You're not going to put him through some sort of test tomorrow again like you did last week?
I don't think so. No, he's better this week. I felt like where he was at the end of last week, he was close enough that I didn't think it was going to be necessary. We expected him to practice Wednesday.
Full go, or do you think it'll be limited still?
I mean, it's what we're anticipating until we get out there and actually goes through practice.
How much did it help, not from an offensive standpoint, but from providing a spark to get him back if he is able to play on Sunday?
Sure, it'll help. He's a good player, and he brings a different element to the position, and that can help.
How much you think, just from an emotional standpoint too, just a good spark to get your?
Yeah. I mean, anytime you get your starter back, that's always an emotional spark, I think.
What was the game plan for stopping J.J. Watt?
Anything specific with that? I mean...
Well, what's the strategy going in when you see a pass rusher like that, you say?
Well, there's probably a couple of different ways to do it. You can turn your line to him so you get 2 linemen on him. You can bring your back in there to chip so you get extra help there, or you can put 2 tight ends on him like we did a couple times during the game. So, you have to vary the approach in different plays. Some other times, you'll get some 5 across manned up situations where you get the ball out quick, where you expect to get rid of the ball. So, there's all kinds of different ways to try to do that.
He said he was really surprised to wind up one-on-one as much as he did. Were you surprised?
Well, was I surprised at what?
That he wound up in those one-on-one?
Well, I mean, we doubled him. We doubled him quite a bit. In fact, I don't think there was that many plays where he was one-on-one. Where it was he was one-on-one in some of the run plays, but as far as some of the pass plays, there weren't that many.
Taylor was saying that there should have been some more double teams, but that there was miscommunication.
Yes.
Did that happen?
That happened a couple of times, yes.
Just like a noise kind of thing? Or
No.
was it miscommunication?
No, guys not going the right way.
Why
They
can't
made
they
mistakes.
communicate at this stage correctly against a guy who got the potential to kill your quarterback?
Why can't they communicate?
Why?
It's not, well, I mean, first of all, Paul, you know, the guy lines up all over the place. He doesn't just line up in one spot. So when you talk about trying to take care of those things, you have to do it with a systematic approach. So, you know, it just so happened that on the one mistake, the twice that made the mistake, that Watt was there. I mean, you set it up so that your tendency is to try to do that, but he lined up over the center, he lined up on the left side, he lined up outside right yesterday, he lined up in a number of different spots. And when you talk about turning a line to it, that's what's to handle it. And when a guy goes the wrong way, you know, he made a mistake.
You said that yesterday that they were kind of creating the one-on-ones with what they were doing.
Sure.
How can you talk us through like the line between the defense dictating to you and you dictating to the defense?
Well, I mean, I think it's a little bit of a chess match, Paul, and if they want to create one-on-ones, which means, let's say, for instance, if you've got 5 offensive linemen and they want to line up 5 on 5, then they're going to have to match up in other areas one-on-one. So your counter to that is to either turn the line, bring your back to the edge, or to have a specific guy that he's going to help double on if he's a problem, or you get an extra guy out into the pattern where you make a quick throw and counter it that way. So that's what it's all about. It's always a chess match trying to counter the things that they do.
So is Zach come out of that game healthy?
Yeah.
How do you look at Clay? I know you talked a lot yesterday, but times he maybe held on too long compared to times where maybe he just didn't have time to work. I mean, what was the balance like there?
Well, once again, you know, when you talk about keeping extra guys in to help on those situations, then you're also putting your outlet throws, the ones that you can get it to, they're not getting out some of those times. But were there a couple of times when, yeah, you've just got to throw it away? Yeah, those are the things that in a couple of situations we could have done better.
But where were those outlet throws, though, in the fourth quarter when you had, I guess, five or 7 sacks maybe in the fourth?
I think that's right, because I think through the third quarter we were okay. Well, I think that was where the game got a little bit one-sided, too. And, you know, they're playing a lot of coverage, and there was 4 guys rushing. So we lost some one-on-one matchups.
If Kendall has to miss some time, what does that mean for the rest of the receivers moving forward? Does that mean Rico stays on the active roster, or?
I mean, we'll see. I think Harry's back practice this week, so that certainly helps.
Additional usage of DGB maybe, or
well, DGB got a lot of plays yesterday. I mean, he's increased the number of his plays over the last couple of games, so that's not something that would be out of the norm.
As you say, he's definitely getting more snaps, but the production's still not there. Is it primarily because he's still learning, do you think, or what's the?
Some of it is. You know, some of it is mistakes. I mean, the one time yesterday where we hit him on a back shoulder, the left tackle moved. You know, one of the things that we were trying to scheme to. And we had a couple of things in there for him yesterday. The one pass we threw behind him that was intercepted was a play that was going to him. So, you know, we had a couple of other things that were options to go to him that the way they played the defense, they took it away. So they had an extra guy over there. So, you know, we're trying to incorporate him in there, and sometimes he does make some mistakes.
On the play when Kendall took that shot to his knee, was DGB at all in position to maybe make a block on the guy who hit Kendall? Or
considering that guy was over him, yeah.
Okay.
Was lined up right in front of him, yes.
Last 3 weeks of third down offense is something you had gotten better at for a while, but it seems to have disappeared.
Yeah, it has. It hasn't been good. We've got to continue to change things up. I mean, we've got to, you know, this past week we used the tight end in protection one time and free released the back to try to create a matchup, and we had the play and we just didn't hit it. We missed it. So, you know, we've got to continue to work on those things. I think we've had an inventory that we've built up, and you try to draw from that inventory, so it's not something new conceptually every week. And it's a constant matchup. It's a constant, once again, chess match, because if you go into a game and the last 10 times in this situation they've shown man coverage, you design a play to go against man coverage, and then they play zone. And that's what you try to that's what you battle. And yesterday, a couple of times in third down, we had some breakdowns in protection. We didn't do a good enough job up front, and that hurt us as well.
Do you concern yourself with Patasi's confidence, because this is twice in 3 games now that he's been pulled?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a young football player. Those are things that are tough.
We talked a lot about offensive line problems, obviously. Is it a concern for Marcus coming back that he's put in a high risk because of inconsistencies of the offensive line?
Well, I think we did a better job last week against Atlanta. We had a setback yesterday against the Texans, certainly. But, we'll look to do a better job with that. I think we, I don't necessarily, Marcus does a good job in there of understanding you can do some different things, move the pocket, move him around to help compensate for that.
Patasi still your guy? Or?
That's something that we're looking at, John, certainly. I think you have to consider that.
Consider making a change?
Yeah.
Jamon didn't seem to do particularly well in his stead. Is that the lone alternative there?
Paul, it's not like you're going to go out and get some guy off the street. We've already done that. We're doing that at center. But, you've got to look within and see what options that we have and talk about it, what we think is the best thing for it.
Could you do something like Gallick in at guard and move Byron back outside, or are you satisfied with Byron at guard?
Well, those are all things that you talk about, certainly. But I think you got to be careful about not disrupting the whole thing. When you take a player and change a position with him, there is a ripple effect with that.
Do you know you're planning on David Cobb yet?
I think we'll work him this week. I'm waiting to hear from Todd about whether he made progress last week, but about where he is physically. I think the one thing you got to be careful about doing is thinking he's full go and then he has a setback. So we'll integrate him as much as we can this week to find out.
That's part of what Ken Whisenant had to say earlier today at St. Thomas Sports Park. We welcome your phone calls now, 615-737-7767. Love to get your reaction to the Titans falling to 1-6, your solutions, your biggest issue with this team right now. Again, phone line at the bottom of your screen, 615-737-7767. We'll talk Titans with you, plus hear more from Ken Whisenant. We'll hear from Kendall Wright, Harry Douglas, and more coming up here on Titans Talk on News Channel 5 Plus. Stick with us.